Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody, welcome. It's so great to be having you tune us in and turn us on. Thank you for joining us here. Angels and Light Beings, we have a very special segment today. I'm Dr. Pat, joined by Francine Vale. Very special segment. Super, super, super. Purification, love, and compassion in response to hardship. With Francine Vale and me on the show today. You know, we're going to be talking about what happens to us when we're faced with hardship and how do we respond to that? You know, what is it about us that can get the hair on the back of our neck standing up, and yet at the same time we know intuitively that is not the energy we want to send out into the world. Francine is going to be taking your calls today. There is absolutely an incredible opportunity to really dig deep into purification and what it's like. And so today we're going to be talking with her. For those of you out there, I just want you to know, this amazing metaphysical teacher, personal spiritual growth healer, all of the above, is on a mission to infuse the world with a higher consciousness for all of us to learn and understand. She embodies the level of authenticity and integrity that helps people get to that place of unconditional love. And she does this by connecting with the highly evolved beings of light to help humanity. And that is really what we're looking for on the planet. She's also the author of Song of the Heart, Walking the Path of Light. She began her journey, in 1989 in a very interesting way, which we've talked about. But there was something going on in the 1990, 1991 area for she and I. Maybe it was us being both on the East Coast in there, just kind of having the spiritual awakening of some kind. But then the question then becomes, what do you do with that? What happens is that all of a sudden you're open to a new world and boom, something happens. Where do you go from there? Francine, great topic. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Pat. I am totally delighted to be here with you today. And thank you for that really lovely introduction. And it is true. I do feel that the most important thing we can do with our life energy is to bring about peace in our own lives, and that will reflect out into the world. That's the only way we're going to bring peace into the world is to begin with ourselves. And so the purification process is really about that.
It is. But let's talk about, this thing that I said about, look, something happened to me in 1990, 1991, and I didn't really have an explanation for it at the time. But looking back, I know what it is. Now, when I had this, let's just call it a little bit of awakening or enlightenment, and it really was a little bit, things started to go wrong in my life. And now I know they're not wrong, but they felt wrong. Lost my job. I was in an abusive relationship. Boom, 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 boom. All of the above. And you think, what? I just feel like I had a spiritual awakening, and now I got this rotten bad luck? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it's very true that as soon as we make a decision and an affirmation for our lives, we're going to be tested. We can count on it. And that testing is very important because we need to know that we are in our integrity. When we make that choice, we need to know that we have made it with a full heart. And so all of these things that look like bad luck or accidents are really just tests for us to see how strong we are. And when we look back, we can see that indeed all of these things that happened strengthened us and turned out to be not really bad luck, but events in our lives that pushed us to where we needed to be. And we might not have gotten to where we needed to be if we didn't get pushed. So, of course, it's always good when we don't need pushing, but being human, living in this human life that's so challenging for all of us and sometimes brings fear when we make new decisions, we need to have those experiences so that we can pass the test and prove to ourselves that we are definitely going to do what we have decided to do with our lives. And so, once we see the events in our lives in perspective, not as accidents, but actually a pathway to higher understanding, we begin to raise our own frequency and to live that way with seeing other things from a higher understanding so that we don't have to suffer. We don't have to berate ourselves or cry at night or, go through those negative things. We want to bring positivity into our lives. So if we see every so-called accident or every so-called a bad luck event as just a testing ground for us and rise to the occasion, that's the way we are supposed to be meeting everything in our lives, the good as well. So
I love this. I love this. I got to tell you, Francine, I was so looking forward to this show today, and I want to tell you why. Maybe you can help me out here with my little conundrum, right? You and I met months ago, and I had no idea when we first met. And then I sat down and I put this little video together for you, and I looked at the book and I looked at and then with the website, and I'm sitting here almost as if I forgot all of that for a minute because you and I seem like we've known each other for like a million years, right?
yes.
And I'm thinking to myself, holy cow, look at Francine and how she's showing up. But here's the thing I know about you and the thing I know about me. We did not get here without having a few bumps in the road. I want to stop for a minute and talk about this because I'm really struck by this today in my life, as you are.
Yeah.
I've been sick. I've lost people. So have you. Death in the family, whatever it is, job lost every job I've ever had. That's why I'm self-employed now. You live in Manhattan. Linda and I are thinking, oh my God, we can't wait till we move to Manhattan, but I don't know. So here we are. I want to ask you this question. What are some of life's challenges that have shown up for you that caused you to step forward despite how icky they were, to really emerge at a higher level of consciousness?
Oh, Pat, what a question. I have many. You're so good at this, Pat.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But no, it's okay. I'll share the story. It's in my book, Song of the Heart. And when my mother in 1996 was diagnosed with lung cancer, I was in bed recovering from a very serious surgery that I had with my reproductive organs. Even though I'd had a hysterectomy, I was still left with a couple of things in there that I thought were removed. And I was very, very sick. I couldn't eat. And it turned out to be that surgery was much bigger than either I or my doctor expected it to be. And I needed 6 weeks of recuperation. And I'm not a person that lays in bed, but I knew I needed to. And about 2 weeks into this recuperation, where it was really still hard for me to walk around and to eat, and I was really, really in the very beginning stages of recuperating, I get a phone call from my mother. And my mother was very pragmatic. I've spoken of her occasionally, loved her dearly. She was a Virgo. She said things like it is. And she gets on the phone with me and she says, Fran, I'm in the hospital. I have lung cancer. Just like that. I'm laying in bed just praying to get better so I can resume my life. And my mother tells me she has lung cancer and they want to give her more tests. I said, Mom, I'm coming up. I'm getting you out of there. And my mother was a very frail person. but strong. If you know that kind of wiry kind of body, but just strong forever. She outwalked me wherever we went, outlasted me in every day. She just was very strong. And I get out of bed, I get dressed, I take a taxi up to the hospital. It's about an hour away from the city. And I say to my mother, let's get dressed. I helped her get dressed. And everybody's arguing, you can't take her out. We have to do this. We have to do that. I said, no. I said, my mother's coming home with me. I'll take care of her. And that began 6 months of taking care of my mother for a place of not being anywhere near fully. I wasn't even close to being healed. And I did that. And I didn't even question it. I didn't say, what are you doing? Is this good for you? Is this the right thing? Where's other people and the family to help you? I didn't do anything like that. I was the one, and so I did it. And so even though I was coming from a really weak place, I stepped up to it, forgot about myself, and I took care of my mom for 6 months until she passed. The rewards of that cannot be measured in any terms. The rewards of being with my mother through those last months of her life, and it was draining on me. I will admit there were times when I had a heart monitor because I was having heart palpitations and, all the stress that goes with it. And yet the rewards, I could never, it was something that really pushed me into my spiritual work further than I had already been. I was already about 6 years into my professional spiritual work. But the experiences that I had while my mother was dying, I could not have had any other way. And it taught me so much that I've been able to bring out to other people. The day before my mother died, I saw hundreds and hundreds of sparks of light. It was a gray, cloudy day, and I could see them against the window, golden light, floating, hundreds of them, maybe thousands of them. And so I got up from where she was sleeping on her sofa, and she didn't like to say, oh, no, excuse me, she wasn't sleeping on her sofa. It was the day before she died. She was in bed. She wasn't going anywhere. And I got up from her bedside, and as I approached the sparks of light, my grandmother, who had died when I was on my 15th birthday, was there in her golden light body, smiling at me and radiating this golden light. And then a second later, my grandfather, who I never knew, but I knew it was him, was standing next to her, also in his golden light body, life-size form, smiling at me and sending me love. And as I'm telling you this, I'm filled with the vibration. And then the next thing that happened, my father, who had passed about 7 years earlier, was standing there in his light body form, golden, beautiful. All three of them were in this beautiful golden light bodies. And my father was tall, and my grandparents were not, and he was in the right proportion of his body. And, they were showing me themselves as I knew them. And then the miracle of miracles, something you could never imagine. My mother is lying in bed. 6 months of this, and she's standing next to my father in her light body form, smiling at me and radiating love and light. And they're all four of them. You can imagine this golden light radiating towards me. I was in another dimension with them, and my mother starts to speak. And she said, Fran, all that you dream of, all that you pray for and work for is true. And then she began to tell me things, and I wrote it all down afterwards, and it's in my book. And it was the most amazing thing. And for me, that was the day my mother passed. But she actually officially died the next day. And so how could I ever have had that experience? It was beyond anything I could ever imagine. If I hadn't been devoting myself with all my love for my mother and her love for me, that maybe neither of us fully understood. We go through our lives, and we say we love each other, but when we get into a situation like that, and we suddenly know life, our days are numbered together. When I went out for lunch for a half hour, when we had the health aid, and I saw a mother and daughter walking together, I would cry while I was sipping my iced coffee because I knew I'd never walk with my mother again.
Yeah.
I'd never go window shopping with her or sit at lunch with her again. And then I'd go back to her, and there she was, depending on me and loving each other and sharing all kinds of transcendent experiences. So although it was a great hardship on me, I cannot deny that. It was a huge physical hardship that I first needed to recover from. The spiritual uplifting that I got actually healed me. That's something for everyone to know. The spiritual healing is what brought my body into physical healing. Without my rest, I wasn't able to rest at all. And I was upset and stressed and all of that, and yet I healed. And I healed very well. So it's a big, big teaching. And I wish everyone would know this when we're called on. Take the opportunity, answer the call, go beyond what you think you're capable of, and reap the rewards that you're not even seeking, that you can't even imagine. But it's there. It's there for you. It's there for all of us.
Yeah. I have to tell you one of the things that I want to, I would love for you to comment on this. I'm learning a lot of stuff. You know, what is that expression, Francine, that we got in our society? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. I don't even know where that came from. But I got to tell you, I think you can. And, you know, I'll tell you some of the new tricks and what I'm talking about, because this is really what you just shared. Yeah, I believe like what Einstein said, is that you cannot solve the problem at the level it was created. I think that algorithm is not just about problems. I think he's also saying, and he said it in many ways, you cannot be in the world today the same way you were and expect something different. And so these experiences that you're talking about, and I'll tell you, just brought tears to my eyes, because I was just immediately brought to the journey that Linda had caring for her mother for 12 years. And her mother, it was like my mother. They literally adopted me into the family when I was 23 years old. And I watched Linda, who you know, do something that I don't know I'm capable of. I mean, I don't know that it's me that can do things like that. To really be there for the mom. But here's what happened, Francine, and this is really what we're talking about today. The events in Linda's life that enabled her to be there for her mother were as follows. All of a sudden, she gets laid off from the job that she had plugged into and was doing. Then the next thing is, we happen to have here our former producer who literally disappeared. And Linda was able to step in and do and help us, right? Because this is a little bit more flexible. And every day for 12 years, she got in her car, went to her mother's house, took her mom who had cancer, took her mom to doctor's appointments, cooked dinner for her mom. You can't plan things like that, Francine. You know what I'm saying?
Can't. Yes,
So is it a sacred contract? You know, what is the purification process that enables events like that to happen where love and compassion can show up, right?
Exactly, Pat.
I'm a little excited about this. It's emotional. I'm a little emotional here.
Yes, it is. Because the idea is that we accept the purification process and do it. And Spirit will show up and make it possible for us. Just like I needed to heal, Linda needed to have space to take care of her mother. And so Spirit arranged her life that way. And believe me, it happens. It happens that way for all of us. But through that, I know that Linda had amazing experiences of her own. And she would not be the same person she is today without those experiences. And she answered the call. She answered the call. And that's what it's really about, is answering the call. Because that's how we raise our frequency, raise our vibration, and become more loving and compassionate. And once you take part in that, you're more loving and compassionate to everyone.
Yeah.
Because you've been there first. It's almost, when you take care of a loved one, it's like you're going through that with them, you know.
And you know, and so let's talk about the opposite, because this is purification in two extremes. I didn't know we were going to talk about this way, but I don't know. Spirit takes over when you and I get together. I don't have any explanation. So let's take my scenario, which is very, very different, right? So here's me. 6 years old, my mother commits suicide. Boom.
Oh, dear.
Everyone in my life, you know, and I'm not even going to go through the list, but pretty much, and they were all women role models in my life. My mom, my sister dies very unexpectedly on a hospital floor.
Oh,
boom.
Dear.
The next thing, my stepmom, who I loved and adored and made amends to, massive heart attack, gone. My mentor, spiritual teacher, who we were co-writing a book together, literally took me out on vision quests. I was supposed to be in Morocco with her on a trip. I couldn't go because I was busy in school. The Jeep turns over. She gets killed by a stake going through her heart. Boom. So I have the opposite experience. And then two sisters just passed away recently, 2 years ago. Boom, immediately. So here I am. I have this opposite experience. And I got to tell you, for a long time, Francine, I was like, you do not want to be my female friend, because it was just not going to be looking good for you, right? But here I am. I got the opposite. These folks are not in my life long enough. Is that a different energy? And, you know, what is the difference in the purification process? I know all you listening, that's probably was a lot for me to share with all of you, but I'm saying I really am at a great place with all of that. You know, and I don't mind sharing it with all of you, because this show is about helping you. And I want to just say, Francine's here to do some healing today. Do you have something going on? 1-800-930-2819. Francine, what do you make of those two contrasting scenarios? Linda, 12 years. Me, they're all gone in a nanosecond.
You know, I see them as the same.
Okay, good.
They seem to be opposite, but they're really the same.
Ah.
And yes, they are the same. So all of these women that were in your life, it was part of your destiny to make it on your own, to gain that strength. They were there, and they gave you what you needed for your foundation. And however many years it took you, how long did it take you to recognize that you were going to make it on your own?
Well, the fact that I was homeless at 17, do you think that was a little accelerated for me too?
Yeah. So that's the age of, you know, you're coming into your adulthood, and you have leaving high school, and you recognize you need to make it on your own. You had all of them, and probably many of them, as spirit guides. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, a lot of them. I actually did one time, Francine, I did a recording, and I wrote a paper on the angels that were in my life, many, many angels. And here you are. Angels and light beings. Let's take a short break. When we come back, Francine, I would love to talk with you about how do the angels and light beings show up? What is their role in the purification process? But even more importantly than that, how do we recognize that they're there and available to help us? Phone lines are open for all of you out there that want to get some relief. 1-800-930-2819. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Leslie Fontaine, and my show is Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com. When we're bogged down with our emotions, the hardships that plague us in our relationships, at work, our finances, we literally can't see the higher plane where we could be operating from. Tune in to Leslie Fontaine, Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
If you're one of the millions of Americans suffering from anxiety, you probably know how powerless and out of control this emotion can make you feel. This is why it is so important to remember that anxiety is created by your mind, which means that you can learn to use your mind to uncreate it. Hello, my name is Dr. Friedman Schaub. My award-winning book, The Fear and Anxiety Solution, provides you with a step-by-step breakthrough process to understand and resolve the root causes of your anxiety and build a solid foundation of confidence and inner peace. If you're ready to take your power back, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com. That's thefearandanxietysolution.com, or call 866-903-6463. That's 866-903-MIND.
I'm Peggy Snow with another Stellar Reflections Minute. Presence, or what we think of as being fully in the moment, is a key element in the process of healing work. As a practitioner facilitating a session, genuine presence takes us out of our heads, where we tend to decide what is and maybe what should be for the client, and moves us into direct experience, where we're available to witness the person in their wholeness. In this receptive realm, our senses are heightened and expanded, allowing us to perceive what's seeking to unfold and to interact in the moment. There's something profoundly powerful that happens when healing is approached in this simple, pure way. Balance can be restored and healing can take place on multiple levels. If you'd like more information about the services we offer at Stellar Reflections, visit us at stellarreflections.com or call 425-999-9836. That's 425-999-9836.
What if your body and mind were the compasses to the secrets, mysteries, and magic of life? Glenna Rice, co-host of The Questionable Parent, is inviting you to access all that is possible. Glenna is a 10-year certified veteran Access Consciousness facilitator who offers an amazing variety of life-changing classes and workshops. Work with Glenna from anywhere, with teleclasses and workshops all over the globe. To learn more and see Glenna's current schedule of events, classes, and workshops, visit glennarice.com.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. I'm Dr. Pat. I'm joined here by my buddy, colleague, Francine Vale. AngelsandLightBeings.com is the website. Check it out. Francine also has, an event coming up June 12th for any of you out there. Can we take a minute and just tell people about the event, please? What an exciting, this is incredible. I cannot believe here we are today. I'm watching you. You're doing healing work with people from all over the world. And my gosh, people say to me all the time, Francine, well, how long are things going to take? Well, look at Francine. So tell us about the event, and then we'll go back to talking about the process. And an invitation to all of you. Would you like some help getting through the purification process? Would you like Angels and Light Beings and Francine to help today? 1-800-930-2819. But tell me about the event.
Yes, thanks, Pat. The name of the event is Life After Life and Our Angels. And it's a 5-hour event for anyone in the New York area, New Jersey, Connecticut. If anyone listening is from the area, or if you have friends or relatives, I have a beautiful room that I'm going to be using that looks like it's in a higher dimension. It's all white, with recessed lighting and a coarse floor, and it's perfect for what we're going to do. And we're going to learn about life after life and how our life is eternal. And this is only one part of it. And it's all based on my personal experiences. And I have these personal experiences because angels and light beings who move easily between the dimensions take me with them. And the purpose of it is not just to give me an experience, but for me to share these higher wisdom teachings and expanded realities. And so I will also take people on a shamanic journey where they can meet soul to soul with their loved ones who have passed, or even with loved ones who have not passed. And everything is truth in the higher dimensions. So you can ask any questions that you have, and you'll receive the answers. And it's when you leave, you'll know for sure the forgiveness imperative, the love imperative, why judgment is not ours to pronounce. You'll know about the astral realm and the realm of life, and you will remember it forever because it will resonate with your soul wisdom. So that's what I'm doing, and it's actually, it's even though it's about, people passing over, it's actually not, it's not a negative thing at all. It's actually filled with light and beautiful and fun also. It's actually fun. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving me the chance to describe it, and I hope people will come from listening to it. Thank you.
Well, we're going to tell the world about it and just make sure they do, because it's part of your gift to the world. And I remember you were doing email healings with people, and our listeners absolutely adored this. They loved this. And I wanted to kind of bring it to this place because what we're talking about today is a purification process. And the way you work with people is to help folks get through this purification process, which I think, Francine, and this is just me now, I think it is impossible to do alone. I don't know very many people that truly see themselves honestly or know how to maneuver. Can you talk about this? When stuff happens, we get mad at God, we get mad at our best friends, we get mad. I'm mad at State Farm Insurance right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yes,
but that doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't help. The anger, negative thoughts, seeking revenge, none of that helps anything. And so basically, we tend to see these things as punishment, and it's meant to be seen as a pathway to higher consciousness. And once the idea of attaining higher consciousness is understood, how important that is, then you can begin to see all your trials and tribulations to be approached with an attitude of, help me to see the lesson here, speaking to your spirit guides and your angels. What haven't I learned yet that you're trying to teach me? Seek that higher wisdom. And as we meet our challenges and learn to respond in a loving way and with gratitude for the higher understanding that we gain, the wisdom we acquire from our challenges, we are basically expanding our soul life. And once our soul life begins to expand from this higher wisdom and higher way of looking at our lives begin to move in healthier and happier directions. And we experience more fulfillment and contentment. So what I'm basically saying is we have it within us to change the attitude with which we approach everything that happens to us. And as you did as a youngster, you did not let it turn you into something that was not productive in your life. You went out and became incredibly productive and turned all of that pain and angst and sorrow into helping others. That's powerful. That's powerful because all the work that you do is coming to a place of really knowing what it's like to be so sorrowful and so sad and so like, why is this happening to me? And fear and all those things, especially to a young child. So it actually strengthened you, gave you incredible strength and experience to go on with your life and create wonderful opportunities for others to learn and grow from Because even when you're not talking about your own experience, you're bringing that energy out into the world of wanting to help. And that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. And we all get it in different ways. We all get it in different ways.
Yeah. I mean, let me ask you a question about the purification process. When I say those words, purification process, right? I'm really, really struck by the fact that I'm saying purification process on the one hand, and what I'm really struck by is how daunting that sounds. Can you tell us about that? And how do you use angels and light beings in the mix of it?
Yes. Thank you, Pat.
Yeah.
We can't do it alone. We cannot. And the best thing we can say is, when we're praying and meditating, is, my dear angels and spirit guides, pray to God, pray to anyone who you perceive as your master, as your God, and say, I cannot do it alone. I need your help. Please help me, and you will receive the help. And the real thing is to understand, to recognize when you are getting that help, that it takes a different form than you may expect. We cannot decide the form that the help is going to come in. We have to remain open to receive the help in whatever form it takes.
Uh-huh.
So for Linda, as an example, the help came in losing her job. The help came in an opening coming along in your work.
Yeah.
So it came in completely different ways that she may have expected it to come. But she recognized it, and she sees the opportunity. That's what purification is, because our higher self knows this. So it's really important that we seize that opportunity for the purification process to happen without even knowing it consciously. We take it on. That's our courage. That's the courage that our soul brings to our life. And we step into our courage. And we don't complain. And we don't bring lower energies. And once in a while we can complain a little bit. But we don't make complaints, the major focus of our day. What we make the major focus of our day is, how am I going to meet this challenge? Show me the way. I want to meet this challenge in the best and highest way that I can for everyone concerned. And you will receive openings will happen, opportunities will come along. Dreams, your angels and spirit guides speak to you in dreams. That's how they reach us. So we have to unplug. Today it's harder than ever because we're all plugged into technology. We have to give ourselves the gift of peace and quiet. And then we can hear the voice of our spirit guides. And sometimes it comes when we open a book and we read the exact thing that we needed to read, or a magazine or a newspaper anyway. Or we turn on a TV and the program is about that, or someone's saying it. It comes in all different ways. All the phone calls from people who start talking about it. We need to be aware and awake. That's really what we have to become, aware and awake. Stop. We cannot be zombies that walk around plugged in all the time, taking in everything that's being given to us by the media. We have to become independent and become the true self that we are. So it's all connected. Everything is connected, and everything has one goal. All that we talk about, it all has one goal, and that is love and compassion. That's where we're all headed. All of this is bringing us to a higher plane of love and understanding and wisdom and higher frequency, all part of it. And we can't get there by lolling around and watching TV. It's just not going to happen that way. It comes from the hard work of living, the hard work of bringing ourselves to the best recovery we can. And not being afraid to connect with our spirit guides and guardian angels by being in the light and staying there as much as possible, becoming an example to everyone around us, even if they don't get us they get us on a certain level that it goes without words. So
yeah. And they get us. And this is really part of it. You know, there's so much, Francine, that gets talked about when we refer to things like the law of attraction or the dynamics of prosperity or self-healing or all of the above. And then when things don't really happen in the way we think they're going to happen, we then kind of scratch our heads. But 9 times out of 10, what's underneath it is really this process of not allowing ourselves to clear a pathway. Let's take a short break. When we come back, Francine's going to tell us, wait a minute, what is this relationship? What is the benefit of right relationship? What does that actually mean? And how does it then clear a pathway for all of the good you can imagine? Let's take a short break, everyone. For more about Francine, check out angelsandlightbeings.com. Also, you can go to the drpatshow.com. You can find out more about the upcoming event. We're also posting it on social media for all of you. And we'll tell you when we come back more about her book and what's next. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back with the show.
My play, The United States of China, is about the trial of Miriam Hopkins, who is a metaphor for all that America stands for. It's the year 2018. America has become the United States of China. We've owed China trillions of dollars we cannot pay. Consequently, we default.
How long do you think it will take this financial empire to crash and crumble? Just like that.
This is more than a play experience. It's a movement to create awareness and empower people to be in action. We are strong together. We will always prevail. Get your tickets today at americathestrong.com.
Get ready to rid yourself of all that is weighing you down and holding you back from living the life you want for yourself. Coming Clean, The Art of Transparency with Catherine Moss is a hit show for women in recovery who are ready to live life on purpose. Tune in and let Catherine help you live your truth one day at a time. Live each Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
In retirement, will you outlive your money? It's a common question for people approaching retirement, but it doesn't need to weigh on you. Ask Ameriprise financial advisor Jeff Packman about the new Confident Retirement Approach. You and Jeff can break down retirement planning step by step to get the real answers you need. Call Jeff Packman, financial advisor, today at 425-453-0272. Office is located at 601 108th Avenue Northeast, Suite 1800, Bellevue, Washington, 98004. The Confident Retirement Approach is not a guarantee of future financial results. Investment advisory products and services are made available through Ameriprise Financial Services, Inc., a registered investment advisor. Ameriprise Financial Services, Inc., member of FINRA and SIPC.
Almost everyone at some time in their lives ask themselves, what am I? Most of our questions are ego-generated and simply don't address the problem of our false self. It's time to relax your ego, and embody your soul. Dr. Dan Cohen, neurologist, inventor, and author, has created tools to awaken, a new way to transform from who you thought you were into what you truly are. Visit toolstoawaken.com today.
Oh, yeah. Play that song, Benny. That is so cool. Welcome back, everyone. Hey, for more information about us, go to the drpatshow.com. Yep, that'd be me. And for more information about my friend, my colleague, Francine Vale, you can go to angelsandlightbeings.com. You can also make sure that you're, Francine, what do we want to tell people about your book?
They should read it.
Yeah, that too, right. But how do they get a copy of it?
If they go to either angelsandlightbeings.com or francineVale.com, you can order it directly that way. You can go to Amazon and order it, also from Barnes & Noble. Mm-hmm. And when you read it, you will feel the light that is in the book, that everyone who writes to me tells me how it brought them healing. It's just reading the book brought them into a higher place than they were before, and how much it taught them. So buy it, read it, enjoy it, and let me know. Write to me. I love to hear from people who read the book, and if you have any questions about it, anything, I'd love to hear from you. And I have a whole fan club, actually, and I just need more hours in the day.
No kidding, right? I was just saying that myself. I was just saying that to myself. And, you know, it's fascinating that we're talking about more hours in the day, but we love what we do, right?
We do. Oh, absolutely. And I do want to say something. You mentioned earlier in the show about not being able to teach a dog new tricks, an old dog new tricks. And
That's
I want
right.
to say this because both of us are past 35.
That's
and
correct.
There are a lot of listeners out there. I know many of you are also past 35. And I have to say, whenever we pass one of these trials and tribulations and challenges, we say to ourselves, okay, I got through that, now I'm done. What else could there be? I just got through the worst thing that ever happened to me. But guess what? It doesn't end. Because as long as we are living here, we are going to have our challenges. The good news is that we get stronger from each one, and we're better able to handle them. But I have to tell you, they are ongoing. They become easier for us, but it's never over. And we really don't want it to be over because it's part of life, and it's what keeps us going, is meeting those challenges. They do get easier, and they do shift in the way they manifest in our lives. But we keep learning, whatever age we are in, and I'm definitely still learning. And it's good. It's refined learning, but it's definitely still learning. So that's important to know for all of us.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the purification process, because learning how to go through the purification process is super important, right? Because if we're not willing to get on that surfboard and take the ride with this, we're going to be stuck, aren't we?
Yes, and we know people who are stuck. We don't want to be stuck. So part of the purification process is bringing ourselves into right relationship with ourselves. And that's a big part. That's what happens as we go through the purification process. We learn where we need to improve our responses so that we don't cause unnecessary drama or pain in our own lives or in other people's lives. We're purifying that out. That's part of the purification process. So in that process, we become in right relationship with ourselves. It implies that we are closing the gap between the imbalances in our psyche and becoming balanced. So, for example, for myself, when I was a child, I just didn't have a lot of self-confidence. I don't know why. I had an angel come to me when I was 3, and I knew about love, but I just didn't have the self-confidence to speak up on my own behalf, or just to know that whatever I thought was right, and I didn't have to hide it when I thought that what I knew was right. And just knowing that, getting to that place of being able to have self-confidence, that's coming into right relationship with yourself. So we will be tested in that area until the pain is so big that we can't take it anymore, and we decide to speak up. And once we start to speak up and we see that we actually survived that moment, and we went on, and we didn't die because we spoke up, nobody killed us, and we actually might have brought some enlightenment to someone's life, we begin to speak up more and more. And we can learn to speak up not only to one person, but to more than one person, until we gain the confidence to speak on the radio or in front of a group of people. At first, maybe your knees will shake, but you're coming into the right relationship with yourself. You're meeting all your challenges, so you can meet this one too. And you do it, and you eventually come into a much better relationship with yourself. And once you learn this, and you begin to see yourself from a higher perspective, you begin the task of loving yourself, which is part of all of it. I mean, we cannot really love other people until we learn to love ourselves. And the funny thing is that once we come into right relationship with ourselves, the outgrowth of that is we begin to love ourselves and see all the good parts of ourselves. It's wonderful. And then we're able to move through the purification process as we get older more easily. And so it's all good. It's all good. Life is really a wonderful journey. It's not meant for us to mourn over. It's meant for us to pick ourselves up and go right on. Do the next thing that we need to do. Get dressed the next day. Go out and meet life and meet it on its own terms. And we all can do that, not to allow ourselves to fall into depression, and then we are not productive. We need to have productive lives. The world needs productive lives. And so that's what the purification process is about bringing us to that place where we are so productive that we love ourselves and we love our lives. And nothing can get us depressed for more than 5 minutes. Don't think I don't get sad or depressed. When something happens that's bad, you're going to feel it. But I get myself out of it because I know there are people out there waiting for me. So you create that in your life, and that's what keeps you going. The productivity of your life, just with your own energy, without anything else, just your own energy and the people that are in your circle. You know? So this is my inspirational talk to you today, and I live by it, so I can speak about it. And it's been a big journey for me to be able to get to where I am. You know, so I wasn't born speaking up. I was born unable to speak, actually. So it's a big journey for me. And each one of us has some major challenge in our lives. And if it doesn't show right away, believe me, it will show up eventually. So this is life on earth.
Yeah. Life on earth, all of the above, and literally creating a life that we want. You know, making sure that what we've got going on is exactly what we want to craft for the world. Francine, thank you for a great show today. Thank you so very much today for all that you do. And it is amazing that, you know, we get to work together and I get to watch how things grow and expand. But none of that happens without purification. Thank you so much for today, Francine.
Oh, thank you, Pat, and thank you to everyone who's listening. Thank you so much, and blessings to everyone.
Wow, we're going to take a short break, everyone. We're not done yet. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
I tried to swim against brought me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and plead, singing, come out of things unsaid. Shoot an apple off my head and a trouble that can be made.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.